Welcome to lecture 3 in Introduction to Applied Internet of Things. This is lecture 3, Programming, part 4. We are in this lecture going to discuss the for each loop and the one-wire protocol. In previous lecture we have used both the while loop and the for loop, and in this lecture we are going to test the for each loop. The for each loop is a simplified version of the normal for loop that uses a range. If you prefer, you can use the old version and not use the for each loop. Normally, the normal for loop always works, but sometimes the for each loop are more handy. A for each loop goes through each item in a list, for example, or a string, one by one. If you don't need to know at what index the items or the values are located, or how many items there are in the, for example, the list, a for each loop often come in handy. It just picks the next item and does something with it. I think the for each loop is simple and direct. So in this example to the right, we have a list called words with 4 words in it, 4 strings, and we pick each string from the list and save it as word and print it. So here we print one word on each line, and you don't have to call this for example word. You can call it anything you find meaningful. The other thing this lecture will discuss is the one-wire protocol. It's an old protocol that uses only one wire to send or receive data. Using this wire you can connect as many sensors you want. Everyone has a unique ID, we call them ROM, and you can scan through every ROM and use a loop to read from each one of them, and it's the Pico that starts the conversation and asks for data. In this example I will use this sensor that measures the temperature using one wire, and you can find it in ElectroKit or on Amazon or in most places. This is DS18B20. And here is the setup. I will show how I set it up. It's harder to use a program to paint it here than to do it in real life. But you have 3 different wires from the sensor. One red wire that you connect to the 3.3 volt out. In this example I use the rail, but in my real life example I just connected to it. Then you have a black that you connect to the ground, and you have a yellow line on the sensor that you connect to the data. In this case I will use the GP16. And to make the sensors work properly, we use a resistor that you connect the data and the power between. So you have a resistor between here. I will show here. So here are my connection. I have 2 of these sensors that I connect. You see here the resistor, and I connect the red one to the 3.3 volts, and the black one here is to the ground, and the yellow line here to the GP16, the data line. And you see here the resistor between here to make the sensors read data properly. First we have some imports. We have I import machine, I import one wire, and I import this protocol for the sensor, and I import sleep as well. And you see I have some code running on my machine, but we will program it from scratch. The first thing we should do is use the pin 16 here on this one, and program that to the data. I call it data pin, and machine pin 16. And then I will initiate the one wire. I call it one wire because I imported this one. One wire, one wire. Also, I use this data pin. Then I will use this temperature sensor. I call it DS and DS. And using this one wire protocol. Now I will scan for my sensors, call them ROMs, DS, scan. So this will scan, and I can print found sensors. And I can try to run this program. And you see here that it found 2 different sensors. That's great. Now we will start reading the sensors. I use a while loop, and we run it forever using while true, and start this sensors, convert temp, and then I have to give it some rest. I sleep here for half a second, and then I use the for each loop for ROM in ROMs and try to read the data and print it out. Print DS read temp. Oh. ROM, and using C here. I have a special like that, and we sleep for another second and try to run this program. Hopefully both sensors are quite close and they are showing more or less the same temperature. I will turn the camera on, and I will have one of these inside my hand, and we see that hopefully that one of them increased in temperature. You see here the one is around 23 degrees and the other one is increasing to, yeah, hopefully over 30 if I hold it for a while. But you see here you can quite simply use the one wire to connect several, in this case temperature sensors that you can use for measure different things, for example in a greenhouse. So we see we will start decreasing the temperature now. I have released it. and we turn the camera off. Now, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us in the Discord server. So have fun.